Everyone, how are you doing? It's time for the Ruby Girl Talk Show with your favorite Ruby Girl, Dr. K, also known as your bestie, your AI bestie. Hey, we got another Ruby Girl Talk, and tonight we're talking about tenacity. All right, tenacity. I'm going to have my guest. She's going to break it down for y'all. I'm not going to get in her business because my business is to tell you about the Ruby Girl, what Ruby Girl brand is. So, the Ruby Girl brand comes from Proverbs 31 and 10. Who can find a virtuous woman for her price is far above the price of a ruby? So, ladies, this is for you. It makes you rare, virtuous, and as always, you know you are valuable. So go to rubygirl.net, get you a t-shirt so you can rock the Ruby Girl brand, you can represent the brand, and so that everyone would know that you're a Ruby Girl, that you are a priceless princess. And then there's some ebooks on there, and I have my books on there. So go check out rubygirl.net. All right. So let's get it started. We're not gonna waste any time or anything because I got Miss Tiesha Marie Johnson. So she's sharing the video so all her people can tune in and support her. And if you just tune in, share, share, share. Hey, do you know that sharing is caring? All right. So Miss Tiesha Marie Johnson, if you could just introduce yourself to the audience.
Awesome. Well, hello. Thank you so much for this invitation. So, even before I say that, I have to say thank you, my favorite Dr. Ruth girl. I just appreciate you so much. I thank you for the opportunity, and I thank you for just opening this platform to women who have something to share, who have businesses or ministries or products and services. I just appreciate you doing that for all of us. It is so greatly appreciated. You are such a jewel, and that ruby, yes, far, far above the price of rubies. You are. So, I am Tiesha Marie Johnson, better known as the Tenacity Queen, and so I'm here today. I am a best-selling author. I'm a speaker. I'm a minister. I have a women's ministry. I'm a caring and loving person. I told you some of the things I do, but I'm a person that cares about other people. I'm a giver. I love to help promote and share other people. And I just feel like that's part of my purpose to help others become all that they were created to be. And so that's who I am in a nutshell.
That's so great you are in a nutshell. Some of us, we're striving to be a quarter of that. But what I can say about Tisha Marie, I know she has a heart for women. She has a soft heart. She's soft spoken, but with authority and what she has to say. So the first thing I want her to define for us, because some of us went to, we didn't graduate knowing all our vocabulary and everything. But I want you to define tenacity for us. Give us your definition of tenacity.
Well, tenacity to me is something that I embraced, and it really was who I was before I really even knew that it was tenacity. A woman having gone through different challenges and difficulties in life, having dealt with different kinds of trauma, but there was something in me that always resolved to bounce back. And so
Mm.
a tenacity queen is a woman who refuses to give up on herself. She might get down, she might get low, she might get knocked down, but she doesn't stay down. Someone who is persistent, someone who goes beyond the limitations that others tend to put on us. Somebody that's determined no matter what the situation or the circumstance, and they don't allow setbacks to be something that holds them back.
All
So
right.
that is what tenacity entails.
That's a strong definition. So, for those that's out there watching, if you feel like you Tenacity Queen Junior, put TQJ in the comments. I am a Tenacity Queen Junior because we have the seniors in the house tonight. But you're right. It's a lot of sometimes you just don't know you being strong or being stretched. You just adapt to it. And then you find out there's a term for it. Then you
Yeah.
find out there's something that defines what you have been through. So you're known. as we know, and as you just said, the tenacity queen, not the princess, but the queen. Now, being the queen mean there's a whole nother level. You at the top level of going through. You done been through some stuff that people will be like, woo, girl, I don't even know how you did it. But what happened in your life that made tenacity more than a word and turned it into a part of your identity?
Ooh, where do I start? I really think it goes back to maybe even middle school, but definitely high school. As you said, I'm a quiet. I used to say I was shy, but people who know me for real would be like, "You are not shy." I feel like I'm an extroverted introvert, so I bounce between the two. I'm someone who can float into a room and just observe. I don't have to be the life of the party, but I can be. Don't get me wrong. But I just like to be amongst people and enjoy people. And the more comfortable I get with you, the more of me that you will see. So, just had some difficult things that happened to me in high school. And then I will tell you this. There are three things that I've always known. I wanted to be a wife, I wanted to be a mother, and I wanted to do something for God. So that really is what drove me throughout my life. And when I say it drove me into the wrong places. It drove me into the wrong relationships. It just drove me in a way that all these years later, I look and say, "Oh my goodness, what did I do with my life?" Well, I don't have regret, and I don't cry over spilled milk because it created me into the woman that you see today. And so I know because God said that I would deal with women from all walks of life. So I had to experience some things, even most recently, had to experience some hard tests, some hard trials, so that I would be able to minister effectively, so that I would be able to help some other women come through. So I mean, we could talk about relationship. There was a point where I focused solely on coaching relationships, and having been divorced, not once, not twice, but three times, I still
Oh.
believe in love, and I
Mhm.
still believe in the covenant of marriage. And so that probably was one of the bigger areas of my life where I had to learn to come back, to bounce back, because I lost a lot. And oh, I mean, we could talk about the years, but even in that pursuit, though it was honorable, not it's ironic that I said I wanted to be married and be a mother and do something for God. Well, do something for God was the first thing that was revealed to me, even though I got married the first time when I was 21. So it was that okay, God created me with a purpose.
Yeah.
God created me to have abundance in this life. And although I might not be fulfilling it or walking in it, I know that it exists. I know that I want it. And I know that I need to do what I need to do so that I can have those things. And along the way, I've helped other women.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it goes that far back. And I have many things that I could talk about that help create the tenacity queen that you see today.
Well, girl, when you mentioned three divorces, that alone put a period on it. That's enough. To
Yeah.
have three hopes of forever,
Yes.
but to end with each one to end up in court, that has to be a lot. Because every time a divorce is like a ripping, a tearing, because you were one with this person. So
Yeah.
that means there has to be a division, a separation, and you had to go through each one of those. But like you said, you believe in love. And you got hope again. So now you're able to help that woman that's going through maybe that first divorce because you had your heart broken three times, you know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Divorce definitely is like a death, but it's not a death sentence. And some people will have you to believe that. Some people put scripture on it, but I know what God said to me because I've always had a relationship with him and I've always listened to what he said. And he doesn't love me any less. So I just want to put a pin right there to the woman who maybe experienced a divorce or a breakup from a long-term relationship. God has not forgotten you. He doesn't love you any less. He wants to help you heal and know that healing is a choice. You can heal from that.
So that leads into our next question. Your message is heal, rebuild, emerge, influence. Now, why does healing have to come before rebuilding?
Well, you have to heal. Healing is for you. When for instance, when we talk about relationship, you forgiveness is a huge part of that. If you don't forgive your partner, your ex-partner, but more importantly, if you don't forgive yourself, you will walk around with this heavy weight. I say it's like a big old heavy weight around your neck that you're holding onto when you don't exercise forgiveness. So it definitely is important. You have to heal. And if you've ever talked to somebody or heard somebody say, "Oh, I'm never getting married again. Oh, I'm just going to be by myself," that's because they haven't healed. Now, the thing about healing, though, is you have to heal to the point to where you know and understand you could be hurt again. And I think that's the hard part. People don't want to admit that, okay, I do want love again and to be, and we're talking about whole, authentic, deep down healing, not the surface. Oh, I'm gonna forgive, but I'm not gonna forget, or I'm just gonna let people in. So far, we have to use wisdom.
Yeah.
But in order to heal, you gotta do a thorough job with that. And so you may be healing from a relationship, but it may be a trauma that happened when you were a child. And so
Mm.
you that's why healing is so important. And you don't know how healed you are until you get into that next relationship.
Oh, wow. Let's talk about that. You truly know you healed is when those triggers are gone.
Yeah.
Because as long as you're not put into like me, say I haven't had a relationship 30 years, so I'm fine, I'm great because I have not been exposed to what comes with a relationship. But then I get in a relationship and he calls me and I hear a voice in the background. He said, "I'll call you back later." Trigger, because my last partner would cheat on me all the time, all the time. So now I hear that voice in the background, not knowing it's a TV voice. Now I'm triggered. But if I'm
Yeah.
healed, I hear
Yes.
that voice in the background and be like, oh, it's probably the TV, or it doesn't even matter to me anymore. So you
Yeah.
really don't know that you're healed until you step back out into the relationship, or you step back out into something that you've been hurt in before. And so you're right. Fear will keep people from not finding love again. Because
Yeah.
with love, there's a flip side. There's love, and then there's hurt sometimes that comes with love. I don't know anybody that has ever loved that has not been hurt with that love. Even if the loved one, if the person you love passed away, you get angry at your loved one. So you are so right. It's healing. And then you talk about rebuild. You got to heal, you got to rebuild, then you got to merge. So to me, the rebuild means you have to become brand new. You can't, once you heal, you come out differently. Am I
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely. And you just to go back a little bit on the healing piece,
Yeah.
when you're in this new relationship, communication is key. Communication is huge in relationship, and that's why a lot of relationships don't last or don't make it very far, is because somewhere along the way the communication was broken down. And so you've got to communicate, "Hey, this is a trigger for me," or I've experienced this before. So if I react in a certain way, then you'll know why. So communication is huge. And when you've done that work, and it's a continuous work. I don't think we stop
Yeah.
working on healing until we see the Father.
Oh
So
yeah.
you're gonna be healing for the rest of your life. But when you've done that, then you can rebuild. You have a firm foundation to stand on so that you can move forward and really live the life you were created and designed to live. And then the emerge is everything. Once you've done this healing work and you rebuilt your life, then you're able to come out. So in my
Mhm.
book, The Courage to Emerge, which is coming out soon, I talk about the dragonfly. The dragonfly has meant a lot to me for a long time, but a lot of the dragonfly's life is lived underwater in a dark place. So when you have dealt with all that darkness, when you've dealt with all of that junk, that guilt, that shame, that pain, then you can emerge and be this beautiful creation that God created for you to be.
Mm. I think part of tenacity is that you have healed, you rebuild, and now you emerge. You know, you don't, how can I put it? You don't let the thing break you down. You learn
Yes.
to stand in and understand that out of this comes a lesson,
Yes.
regardless if it was a mistake or just something that God has taken you through.
Right.
The tenacity, the buildup is that is how you emerge. And you was talking about the dragonfly. I was thinking about the butterfly.
Hmm.
But I did not know that dragonfly started off in water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you said influence.
Yes. And so
Yes.
once you've done all of that healing work, the healing part, the rebuilding and emerging, then you're able to share your story. I believe that we all have a story to share. I believe that we go through things in life so that we can help somebody else through. And your sharing may not be like mine. Like I know people that would never get on Facebook Live or stand before a group of people, but it might be your household, it might be your family, it might be the workplace where you're sharing and you're able to influence somebody else to do like you did, to take that healing journey, to
Mm.
rebuild themselves, and to emerge into, powerful and purposeful as God has created us to do.
It takes courage to emerge
It does.
after you've been through something.
It
Because,
does.
like you say, you have to break through the wall of shame. And even through some people might not even know what you've been through.
Exactly.
You definitely don't look like what you've been through if you got God in your life. Hey, girl.
I can I can sure enough say that for me, and even people that look at me are like, "Yes, sis, you don't look like what you've been through." Because these last few years, and
Mhm.
especially last couple months, I really been through something really, really tremendous, and
Yeah.
I was there, like, okay, Lord, I've experienced this. You
Hmm.
got to help me emerge. You've got to help me deal with those thoughts
Yeah.
that I'm not worth it, or I don't deserve, or, this is people's opinion of me. I'm never going to be accepted. I really had to dig deep. And when I say deep, God knows we go deep so that those things wouldn't hinder me and hold me
Yeah.
back, because there's somebody that needs to hear my story, and I don't want to be the reason that somebody else is held back. Now, I don't believe that God will leave us just out there hanging, but here's the thing. We've all been given something to do. Why go to the cemetery? Why go to the grave with your
Mm.
work undone?
Wow. That's powerful. What I like about you, your focus is on others. It's not so much I went through this, God did this. I'm going. It's like, what can I do for others? How can what I'm going through help a
Yeah,
sister that's coming behind me going through the same thing? Sometimes I think some of us are like storytellers, meaning we walk through this story, then we go back to help the people that's coming behind us. They are our characters. And so now we're able to speak into their lives and help shape their lives through what we have been through. And so God, for some of us, we're just he uses our life as a demonstration of what he wants to do in other people's life. Is it easy? It's not, because you think about some of the Old Testament. prophets. They had to be naked, walking around for some years. They had to do different things to demonstrate what was going to happen to Israel. And so I still believe even now that we go through some things to help others, and so others can see how we come out, that they can come out too. Or we can show them not to even go into what we have been through. So we're going to take a 60-second break. I'm going to let you go on Facebook. I'm going to go on Facebook. You're going to take over the show. See, here I go switching roles again. So you're going to take over the show for 60 minutes. You can say anything that you want to. Not anything that you want to. I got to start reconsidering that. But no, you got 60 seconds. Say whatever you want to. I'm going to go on Facebook and see what everybody is saying and see who's out there supporting you. You ready?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Go right ahead,
We do
ma'am.
have quite a few people joining us, and thank you for joining. Please share the broadcast if you have not already done so. And I just hope that I'm able to say something or share something, or, just inspire you to take another look at what you've gone through. What you've gone through is not for nothing. It may have been a hard trial or a hard situation. Maybe it's, death of a loved one or death of a relationship. We all have experienced loss in life. Your loss might be in a different area than mine, but it's not the losses that hold us back. It's our not being willing to accept the loss and move forward. It's unfortunate that sometimes when death occurs to um, in our families, and I feel so bad for people who don't let it go and hang on and don't move on in their life. I don't believe that their loved one would want that for them. And so, like we're talking tonight, healing is so key. And a lot of times people get stuck in the healing process, in the grieving process, but you have to reach out. And I know, I'm bad at reaching out at times, but I know when I get in the thick of things that I need to reach out, there are people that are there who love me, and God will even send them in my path. So, don't feel some kind of way about what you've been through, or, what your life might look like now. It can always change. It's a decision, and you have to decide that I'm not staying stuck here.
Hmm,
Was that 60 seconds?
that's good. You were speaking so good. The timer. I wasn't paying no attention to your timer. So we got Martha out there. Martha said hello. Hey, she said, come on, that part. We got Paulette out there. She said, yes, speak true. Candace in the house. Hey, Candace, our most faithful, one of our faithful, always tune inners. We got Martha said again, triggers are real. Have the hard conversation. Tony Totes, she said, great podcast, speak the truth. Martha in the house again, she said, it takes tremendous strength to emerge victoriously. Dr. Terry Lane is in the house. She said, hello. Marietta Mills, she said, hey, hey. And Deborah is out there. And hopefully I haven't missed anybody. If I have, Rogers Jasmine is out there. She said, hey, Miss T. And so hopefully I got everybody. If I did not see your name, that's only because Facebook is a hater and it just didn't show you up. Okay. So now we're going to the second part of this show. Thank you. So in the first part, we was defining what tenacity mean, and we were talking about some of the things that Tisha has been through, and she was talking about how we need to heal, rebuild, emerge, and influence in that order. In order for us to rebuild, emerge, or influence, we gotta first heal. And sometimes healing is the hard part, but you got to do the hard part first so that everything else can be easy. And so, one thing I love about her is like she's always thinking about others. And that's what God has called us to be, not to be selfish, because it's not about us, and not to be bitter as we go through, but to understand that we go through things because we never know how God is trying to position us somewhere. Because me and a friend was talking about Joseph today, and how Joseph got positioned for the 7 years of plenty, that's 7 years of famine. And then in the midst, here comes this opportunity to get revenge on his brothers. God had blessed him so much. And now the enemy was like, you can probably get revenge. But Joseph's heart wasn't even like that. His heart was like, because of you, this is where I am right now. And that's always the attitude that I want to have as I go through, as I go up on the rough side of the mountain. So we know that many women know how to survive, but they struggle with what comes out the survival. How did you learn to stop simply surviving and start intentionally rebuilding your life?
Ooh, I don't know that there was a particular moment. I've just always been a go-getter, always been a person who knows that there's more, and I always have wanted more, even, even in the setbacks that I've had. You deal with it, and sometimes you have to deal with the guilt or the pain of it, but understand that God loves us so, so much, even in my roughest times, even in the hardest times. He was right there, and he's always shown himself to be faithful. And so I think it's just my love for God and knowing that he created me with a purpose. Now, some things, we do, and we get ourselves in that bad situation, and it's like, okay, let me go on and get out because he told me not to do it in the first place, but you have to make the choice to get up. Healing is a choice, and moving forward in your life is a choice. I say it like this. Again, I bounce back to relationship because people identify with that. You break up with someone, they or even if they broke up with you, but even if it was a mutual decision, they move on with their life, but you're still pining, you're still hurting, you're still holding on, you're still hoping that they want to, reunite and all of that. They've moved on. You're the one that's losing life. So as it is with relationship and anything in life, we have to make the decision that, okay, I've been here long enough. It's time to get up. If I want something different, I have to do something different. And so I don't know where that started. I don't know where it stemmed from. There probably is some, if I think about it hard enough, I could probably think of some things that encouraged me or made me want to move forward. Another thing is having some good people in your life. My sister Martha Yvette has been with me through the thick and the thin. As I say, she know where all the dead bodies are. She has prayed me through. She has loved me through. She has encouraged me through no matter what the situation has been. And, I will say, as a minister, as an elder, as a ministry leader, I have not always got it right.
Mm,
But I still knew that my life had purpose. And when I surrender that to God and He can take those things and mold me and shape me, then I can operate and do what He called me to do. So you just can't sit there and stay stuck. There's this story, I don't know where it originated from, but this man came over this other man's house. The dog is sitting on the porch howling, and he's like, "What's wrong with the dog?" He's like, "Oh, he's sitting on the nail." It was like, "Well, why is he sitting on the nail?" Because he hasn't decided to get up off of it. So
mm,
it's the choice. We have to make a choice. Now, I'm not suggesting that everything is so simple as getting up off a nail, but again, it starts with a decision that I'm not going to stay stuck forever. Whatever I can do, one step. I love my tools that I use. One of my tools name is Solomon,
oh,
and Solomon is like, okay, look, you're a visionary. Let's do one brick at a time. Let's build the foundation. So it one brick, one step, one stone, one verse, one phone call, whatever your thing is, just take one step.
wow. I think what keeps people stuck is they look at all the steps they have to take, not realizing to get to the top of any stairs, you got to start with one step at a time. But this is what really stood out for me that you said was CD. No, not the CDs y'all thinking about. Choices and decisions. It's basically what gets you out of everything.
Yeah.
Choices and decision. You make a choice to get out, You make a decision to what the things you need to do to get out. So always remember, Tiesha Marie Johnson has inspired the CD move, choices and decisions.
I'm
But
gonna
you know
write
what?
that.
You are so right. Um, when you start to reveal is when you start to make that first decision, but you got to have action. And sometimes for us, thinking about it is the hardest part. And I think about the how sometimes we can get trapped in something. We can get trapped in grief, especially when it comes at us like constantly over and over again. And we're just trying to survive it. We're just trying to manage it. We're trying to think through it. We're trying to live through it. But we got to learn how to get to the point of I survived it. That
Yeah,
means that you've gotten skills that help you get through it, to help it be more manageable to you. And then you can start to rebuild. Rebuild on, I got great memories. Rebuild on, I'm still here. Rebuild on, God been through me all the way. God gave me the comfort that I needed. So in anything that you go through, you got to make that decision that I'm going to go through it, I'm going to survive this, and then I'm going to start to rebuild after this. Now, define what tenacity has meant for women of colors. Women of
Woo.
color. Woo!
Well, tenacity for what I we
It's
let me
different for us.
let me just say, Black women are the most phenomenal species on the planet. Uh,
Yes.
that's not to say that any other woman is not phenomenal. She is. But Black women in particular, we have been the nurturers. We have been the ones who have bore all of the heavy burdens on our shoulders. And that is not what God intended, but that has been our story. And so for women of color, we've had to be, all things to all people. We've had to, run the household. We've had to get educated beyond, the person next to you. We've had to work twice, almost triple the as hard as the person next to you, only to not even fulfill what it is that you desire. So, women of color, we've been through a lot and we will continue to endure. And don't get me wrong, we have some things that we need to heal from for sure. But listen, ain't nothing like a black woman. can I can I say that? Ain't nothing like a
You
black woman.
said it.
Gonna figure it out. We gonna find a way, make a way, and I'm just glad to be one. We've experienced so many obstacles, so many hindrances throughout history, and yeah, I mean that's tenacious when
Yeah.
you have all of these factors coming against you, and yet you will still, as Maya Angelou says, and still I rise, and still women of color will step up to the plate, women of color. And, really, if we as women of color come together, I believe that we can change some things
Mhm.
in the earth. Yes, some things have to happen according to the Bible. Yes, indeed. But can we slow down the acceleration of that? I believe that we can to some degree through our prayer, through coming together, through building community, through, putting down the petty stuff. And again, coming together and being all that God created. We all have gifts. Come together. I'm not trying. Look, I'm not trying to be Dr. Ruby Girl at all. I appreciate and I love it. I'm gonna let you go. Me and the TQs, we gonna be over here, But we're all together, working together, and it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
Yeah, you're right. And as you were speaking, I started to think about what the black woman has been through. How we in slavery time had to watch our black men being beat, being overworked. We had to, soothe our black king and tell him that, he's still worthy as a man, that we still had to respect. We had to bear master's child, you know.
Yes,
We've been through so
and
much. We have to,
raise.
yes, we
Yeah,
had to have the most degrees. We had to have two masters for us to be equal with somebody else that had a bachelor's. So we always have had to do the most and be the most. And so people can't handle us because they think we're too much. But we had to be too much because when you're always at the back of the line, you have to be loud to be heard. You have to speak up for yourself when you always overlook, when you always um put down at the bottom of the totem pole. We're the double minority here. Our black man is a minority, but we're the double minority because we're black and we're woman. So like you say, tenacity is something that our picture should be next to in
Yeah.
the the dictionary.
Yeah.
But you said that you started in a community. So tell us about your event that you got coming up. Or not your event, but tell us about what you're about to do to make sure that these women become just as strong as you are.
Absolutely. So I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, and I have um, not been afraid to try different things. And I really feel like with the Tenacity Queen that I've landed in my place, in my sweet spot. And of course, I mean the work is the same. It just has a name and some branding to go with it. But I mean, I've done the work, pulling women together in a community, having safe, sacred spaces where they can come and heal and develop and grow, and there's no judgment. We my ministry, Well Women Ministries, we've gone to people's houses. I've never, though, yes, God called me to preach, and you probably will see me in places more now, but I'm never concerned about standing in somebody's pulpit because there are so many other people that need to be ministered to. You and I, Dr. K, talked about, being in the shelter for a couple years. The ministry went to the shelter to minister to those women. So women from all walks of life. And I just have decided that this is the place that I'm going to stay grounded. And of course, there's a lot that comes with that because you're talking about the woman being spiritually enriched, emotionally healed, physically, financially. Oh my goodness, can we talk about financial with gas being what it is? So,
Yes.
we need spaces where it's not competitive, it's not a judgmental space. There's that, not that crab thing. uh, we don't want nobody to outshine us and all of that. I'm not that woman. Listen, outshine me. If I really read my resume to you, you'll be like, oh wow, really? I've had people that went ahead and ascended to places that I haven't gone yet, and that's okay. It doesn't make me any less than, because I enjoy being a catalyst, but I want to bring together women who have a passion to become all they've been created to be. So you may be a woman who, that there's more. I remember turning 50 some years ago. I'm closer to 60 now. And I was just like, it's just got to be more. There
Mhm.
has to be more. And so there are women out there, I'm sure, that are like, okay, there's more. I might not know how to get to it. And I might be kind of stuck where I am. I want to create a space. I've created a space that we will soon officially launch so that women can come together. And like I said, I've created spaces, but this one I feel like it's a sweet spot where we're going to be here for a minute and we're going to do the work that God created me to do. And so I'm
So
excited about that.
so what about that 5 week class you got coming up?
Oh, well,
Did you forget about that,
Yeah. So, yes, we're going to come together and really work on those areas. Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you don't know which way to go. You want to be clear about what you need to focus on, and you sometimes you need somebody to help you with that. It can be a lot, especially when you have multiple gifts and talents and skills. You're like, okay, where do I start? And so we're going to come together so that you can walk out those steps and create the steps that you need. So it's one step at a time, one brick at a time, so that you're not trying to do too much, too fast, too soon. And I'm excited because when we leave this space, you're going to have a clear direction. You're even going to have some
Mm,
things completed so that you move forward. You talked about a little while ago about being overwhelmed by what's next. I
yeah.
work with authors and I tell them, okay, you thinking about how the book gonna be published. You thinking about the money that you don't have. Have you written the manuscript? So
Mm,
there is a process to all of this. And so
yeah.
we are definitely going to be walking with women through that. I'm excited. We're going to have retreats and just a lot of fun things. We're going to travel together. I know I love traveling and I'm excited about going to some nice places, some warm places, some exotic places and
Yeah.
we're going to do all that. I believe, listen, we got to have fun, but there's work that we need to do. We can do work and have fun as well.
All right. So I'll put our link in the comments, and plus it's at the top of the heading for this video so that you can click it and get in touch with her. So this is our boom, 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 boom last question for the night. Are you ready for this?
I am.
So you just talked about how you help women rebuild spiritually, personally, and Lord knows financially. That's very much needed. What would you say to the woman listening tonight? She knows she needs a new beginning, but is afraid, and she feel like she don't have what it takes to start over. What would you say to her?
Trust yourself for a change. I know there's some things that we do to undermine self-trust. But if you are hearing this video, if you are hearing my voice and something resonated, and maybe, it could be that you're hearing my voice and you need to do that, but I'm not your cup of tea, and that's all right too. Guess what? I'm gonna help you find somebody who is. But I hope that, I share something tonight that you want to be a part of the Tenacity Queen community. But trust yourself again and don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
Know that there's somebody waiting to assist you to the next place that you want to go.
Mm, that's good. That's good because we need to make a change. But Tisha, sometimes it's just so hard to initially make that leap, that first step. That first step, your leg is so heavy. You're so afraid to make that first step. So thank you so much for tonight. So I'm gonna give you allow you to do a 2 minute closeout. So while you do that closeout, I'm gonna share your flyer, and then I'm just gonna go to your, I think it's link tree. Yeah, your link tree, so they can just take a look and find out what's going on. So you think you can handle that 2 minute closeout, girl?
Yes, ma'am. You'll have to keep me up on time. But ladies, I am so honored to have this opportunity to just share with you. And believe me, when you look at this flyer, this definitely is an affordable investment in yourself. You want to have the confidence, you want to get the clarity so that you can move forward um, in your life. Listen, we are in August. Oh my goodness, the second half of this year. When are you gonna get started? Stop saying I'm gonna do it Monday. I'm gonna get started Monday. One of the things when we are stuck, we have to disrupt a pattern. Now, believe me, I'm talking to myself because I have several areas in my life that need to be worked on, but I know there are some patterns that need to be disrupted in order to move closer to purpose and to obtain the things that you want to obtain. One of, if I could just put a thing out there, one of the things that I've never done that I've always wanted to do is buy a house,
Mm,
and so what are the steps to that and what needs to happen? My realtor, shout out Deborah Anderson, is there. But you got to make a decision that I'm going to stop sitting on my skills, my gifts, my talents, even my desires. God wants to give us the desires of our heart, but will you trust him? Will you have faith and action? like Dr. K said. You got to be willing to do something. And don't get caught up on what that something is or what it's supposed to be. Just put yourself in position, connect with the right people so that you can get an alignment and obtain the things that you desire from the depths of your soul. And so I'm looking forward to working with some women again in this new space. I'm excited about that. And listen, don't hold yourself back. Stop holding you back. We are our biggest hindrance. We
Mhm.
hold ourselves back more than anybody else. You thinking about what somebody gonna say, their opinion of you, and that's you holding on to that, not them. So let that go and let's go get it.
All right, let's go get it. So tell us how we can connect with you.
You, of course, can connect with me on Facebook. You can also go to my link, which is in the comments. I can post it again, bit.ly/link with Coach T. You can inbox me. You can message me. On the flyer is a phone number and an email, so you can email me. So whatever you got to do, don't feel shame. Don't be shy. Don't feel bad. And even if you think, well, I don't even have the money right now, but I know this is something that you need, reach out anyway. You never know. Somebody might sponsor you, or there may be a scholarship that you don't know about.
Mm.
So go ahead and take a chance on you. Have the courage to emerge. And listen, that next step that you take is building confidence for you to do all of the things that you desire to do. So thank you,
Amen.
Dr. K.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Hey, y'all make sure y'all support her. She's ready to pour into somebody. And look, if you know that you are a Tenacity Queen Jr., put TQJ into the comments. You know, if you've been through some stuff, you know that, hey, it would have ripped somebody else up into pieces. Are you going through some stuff right now? Put TQJ, Tenacity Queen Jr., because she's the master, the senior. So we want to thank you, Tiesha Marie, for just pouring out into us tonight. For somebody, you helped them take the first step to
Right.
wherever they needed to go. And then you reminded us that we need to use our gifts fully now. We don't want to take them to the grave because we got to be accountable for those gifts. We can't allow fear. We can't allow what other people think to hold us back. So make sure y'all connect with her. That is a great price. 5 classes, basically 5 classes, 5 sessions for $97. That is a fantastic price. And it's an investment in you. Break it down. It's less than $20 a week. What do you do with $20 a week, y'all? All right, don't put it in the comments, but all right. Thank you for watching. I'm always looking for a guest. So if you want to be next on the Ruby Girl Talk Show, I do have a guest next week, but the next week out there, then just put in the comments. I'm next, I'm next, I'm next. All right. Thank you, Tisha Marie Johnson. We do definitely support you. Anything you need, you're always welcome to come back on the platform. And for everybody else, good night.
Good night.